Hi there, I'm Evelyn, 27 years old. I'm a homemaker and also work at a company where I hold a position of responsibility. My husband James is the same age as me. Balancing a mama's boy of a husband and a mother-in-law who seems to enjoy picking on me, we've somehow made it to our second year of marriage. Patting myself on the back for staying strong, I found solace in my job. Thanks to that, I've been climbing the corporate ladder, making unusual strides for a woman in my position. Given my job, I often find myself flitting around Las Vegas for business, and I'm currently right in the thick of a business trip. And right in the middle of an important meeting, it happened. Just as the meeting began, my phone, set on silent, wouldn't stop vibrating. Thinking it might be an emergency because of the relentless calls, I checked my phone under the table. It was filled with missed calls from my mother-in-law. What on earth? I was startled and decided to call her back. Just as I was about to step out and return her call, she called again. When I left my seat and tried to call back, I received another call from mother-in-law. "Hello, Evelyn! Where are you right now?" As soon as I pressed the call button, I could hear her agitated voice. "I got a call from the last person I wanted to hear from," I muttered to myself. "Hello, mother-in-law. What can I do for you today? Is there an emergency?" "I don't care what you can do for me. I asked where you are." Her usual arrogance rubbed me the wrong way, but I was in the middle of an important meeting. I didn't want to extend the call by arguing back, so I responded. "Sorry, didn't James tell you? I'm at a meeting on a business trip. Can I call you back as soon as it's over?" I replied as gently as I could. "Well, of course I knew that. Neglecting your home and your husband. What are you doing? Hurry home!" Out of nowhere, she hit me with an unreasonable demand. "Mother-in-law, I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of a very important meeting. Then she cut me off. "You're just a wife, yet you're so arrogant. Now go home. Today is a very important day. You understand, right?" My mother-in-law spoke, letting her irritation build. Wait, an important day? I asked her what she needed me for so urgently, since she wouldn't tell me why I needed to hurry home. Then, "Today, we decided to celebrate my 60th birthday," she answered proudly. If I remember correctly, we were supposed to celebrate her birthday at the end of the month. I hadn't anticipated it would be today, and to plan it during a weekday when I'm on a business trip. Moreover, my husband and I had already told her, "We'll find a nice place and make a reservation for your 60th birthday." I sighed, realizing another round of her antics had begun. Despite knowing I'm in the middle of an important work meeting, she still tries to bully me, I thought, growing more irritated. Like I said earlier, I'm on a business trip, so it's impossible for me to come. "Oh, but I just spoke to James and he said he would take time off work. Other relatives said they would join too. It's just you, Evelyn. You're always working. You're so cold. What do you think of your husband's parents?" If I let her keep talking, I knew she would just keep complaining. I was in the middle of a meeting and couldn't spend more time on the call, so I firmly replied, "I'm sorry, but no matter what you say, I can't make it to your 60th birthday celebration." I made sure to make it clear. My mother-in-law didn't hold back her cruel words. Taking a deep breath, she said, "I will never accept you as family. Don't bother coming back. This is a divorce. James was too good for you from the beginning." Her words of doom all came out in one breath. As furious as I was, I didn't want to prolong this phone call, so I responded lightly. "Ah, okay. We'll discuss this when I get back home. I apologize, but I have to end this call now." I told her to take it easy. She sneered back. "What's with that attitude? Didn't I tell you not to come back? I'll tell James myself." And with that, she hung up. Exhausted from dealing with her, I heaved a sigh and returned to my meeting. 2 days later, after several meetings, I was finally on my way home. My mind was filled with anger and resentment towards my mother-in-law. I couldn't even remember how I got home. "I'm home," I called as I opened the front door, and a weary, "Welcome home," came from my husband. I went straight to the living room, where there was a mountain of cardboard boxes. My husband was there, sweaty, taping up the boxes. When I asked him what it was, he told me they were all my belongings. It turned out that on the day my mother-in-law had called, she had indeed carried out her 60th birthday celebration. She made a scene in front of all our uncles and aunts about how I, her daughter-in-law, had disrespected her birthday celebration and was rude to her over the phone. She added more to the story, and then even announced that such a cold wife was not suitable for her son, and that she was arranging for a divorce and sending me back to my parents' house. I asked my husband, "So, did you agree to the divorce when she told you to?" He fumbled for words. "Well, not exactly, but she told me to pack up your stuff, so I had no choice, right?" I stopped putting packing tape on the cardboard box and answered in a flustered manner. "So, you didn't object to her? You're okay with this?" He admitted that his father had also told him to comply with his mother's demands because it would be trouble for him as well if she got upset. So what does it mean to accept a divorce gracefully? This parent and child. A mother's son, a father who was in control of his mother. It seems that there is no one who thinks to be on his wife's side. While I was speechless, he said, "Mom's word is law. We just need to wait until she calms down. It's fake. This divorce is fake. I'll come to get you once things have settled down." James pleaded with a desperate look in his eyes. I wished he would have used that cunning against his mother. I want mother-in-law to use that wisdom. Just how scared of his mom does he have to be this submissive? I thought to myself, this is hopeless. I began to regret marrying this man. But then, I thought, this could be a good opportunity. If I stayed with him, I would probably continue to be bullied by my mother-in-law and threatened with divorce. Maybe it's better to take this chance and leave, without a fuss. And I make enough to support James by myself, you know. Even if I live alone, I won't lack anything. Just like that, I felt my mood lighten. I told James, "Okay, let's do it." After telling him, I called mother-in-law. Before the third ring could finish, mother-in-law answered with the, "Hello? I'm moving out, just as you wished." I calmly relayed the message. Almost like she had been waiting for it, mother-in-law responded with an exultant tone. Go ahead, leave! Finally you understand you're not suitable for James, huh? What a breath of fresh air. Don't worry, I'll find a cute, obedient wife who is also kind to parents for him next. There will be plenty of women vying for James. And oh, until he finds his next wife, I'll take care of everything for my son, so don't worry about that either. She threw every possible jab she could, thinking this would be the last chance. To this, I said, "Well, mother-in-law, don't regret this." I casually added a little warning. In her high spirits, mother-in-law retorted, "Is this sour grapes, perhaps? Don't worry about me. Oh, and remember, I've gotten the divorce papers from the court and given them to James. Don't forget to sign them on your way out." Without even saying goodbye, she ended the call. James, who had been watching the whole conversation, seemed relieved. No, this is not the time to feel relieved. By the way, do you think mother-in-law knows that you're a stay-at-home dad? There's no way I could tell her that. The idea that I'm an elite is what gives Mom a reason to live. James responded, flustered. Ah, I see. Come to think of it, there might be too many instances that hint at this. Despite being dressed in worn-out sweatpants at home, he intentionally changes into a suit when meeting mother-in-law. He also pretends to be out during the daytime just for mother-in-law, as if he's going to work. And mother-in-law, at her 60th birthday party, unabashedly bragged about how James is such a kind son to take time off from work to celebrate with her, and that with James's status, he could find a more docile and cute wife than me at any moment. If we got a divorce, these things would inevitably be revealed. But I doubt this mama's boy would ever have the courage to disappoint mother-in-law, who believes her son is an intellectual powerhouse. I also doubt mother-in-law would ever consider the possibility that her elite son had quit his job. In fact, James quit his job about a year ago. Mother-in-law's status symbol of an elite son was now unquestionably unemployed, a stay-at-home dad. The catalyst for this was a significant mistake at work that led to a demotion and a pay cut. I'm sure he didn't tell mother-in-law about this either. Straying from the path of a successful career had severely shocked him. He was always a mollycoddled mama's boy, so he probably couldn't take a hit. At the time of writing his warning letter, just the thought of going to work caused palpitations and nausea. He couldn't even step out of the house. At first, James would call in sick or apply for paid leave, but eventually he stopped even doing that. His unexcused absences piled up, and he ended up quitting his job. Now it seems like he has no intention of finding a new job and relies on me for support. He's too afraid to tell his mother about this situation because he's worried she'll get angry. I must say, it's a little disappointing that I won't get to see her reaction when she finds out what's been happening. I imagine she'll be absolutely shocked, but that's none of my business anymore. After James handed me the divorce papers, saying, "Remember, this is just a ruse to fool my mom," I promptly filed them in court. I quickly signed a lease for a new apartment and moved out. About a month later, I received a call from James's mom, who I thought I had cut ties with. I sarcastically asked her, "What could you possibly need from me now? Aren't you relieved to be rid of me?" She retorted, "Just the same as always, huh? Just listen to me," and started speaking in her usual condescending tone. The topic? James. After our divorce, his mom had been helping him out with his housework. Every time she went over, James would just be lounging around at home, showing no signs of heading to work. She asked me if I had any idea why he might be acting this way. I had to hold back a laugh as I nonchalantly responded, "Oh, is that so? Well, of course that's the case. That's right, James has no intention of working." Forgetting the way she had treated me, she suddenly pleaded, "Evelyn, could you please do something about this?" Why should I? He's nothing to me now. She had treated me poorly and now only wanted to use me when it was convenient for her. How selfish. She then tried to blame me, suggesting, "Did you say something to hurt James when you left?" Just how far does she intend to villainize me? Can't she see that the problems lie with her and her son? The one who got hurt was me. Oh, really? Didn't you marry James because you could live a luxurious life? What exactly got hurt when you divorced? She thought I had married James for his money? I wish she would stop making such absurd accusations. What? Are you kidding me? During our marriage, I was the one supporting James. I was even helping you out financially. If anything, my lifestyle became less luxurious because of James. I didn't really care before, but should I start demanding compensation? She couldn't believe what I had just said, and rudely responded, "How dare you make up such a lie? Did you just forget to demand your compensation? James has always been earning more, and has a higher position than you. Stop making these ridiculous claims. If you're unhappy and want money, James can pay as much as you want. He is an elite worker at a top-notch company, after all." She came back at me with baseless excuses. Could it be that James still hasn't told her? As much as I dislike the idea of revealing something he's chosen to hide, this might be my chance to see her reaction when she learns about the situation. Thinking it's about time she gets a taste of her own medicine, I told her, "Your beloved son's job is a stay-at-home dad. He quit his job a long time ago." What? You must be joking. As expected, my mother-in-law refused to accept my words. She yelled so loud, I thought my eardrums might burst. I distanced my phone slightly from my ear and suggested, "Why don't you check with his company? That'll clear up whether I'm lying or not." She fell silent for a moment. But, what if that's true? How are we supposed to survive from now on? Our pensions aren't enough to take care of my son. Who would want to marry an unemployed son? What are we going to do? Her tone dropped significantly. It seemed like my words had hit home. I felt a smug smile creeping onto my face. "Well, what do you suggest?" Mother-in-law fell silent once again. I heard some mumbling in the background. "Evelyn, can't you come back home?" she suddenly asked. Surprised, I replied, "No, we're already divorced. There's no chance I'm coming back, whatever happens." Then I heard a voice in the background, sounding disturbed. "Didn't you say you'd come get her when things calmed down?" It appeared to be my ex-husband, James. "That's right! Why don't you remarry our son?" Mother-in-law suggested. "What? No way! Stop joking around! Think about it! Seriously!" I made sure during our last phone call that I wouldn't regret it. I'm definitely not getting involved with my mother-bound ex-husband and my atrocious mother-in-law ever again. I did exactly what you told me to, mother-in-law. Could you not change your story on me now? But Evelyn, you're not the type to take words at face value. You've always calmly countered anything I've said, haven't you? I didn't think you'd actually go through with a divorce. It seems like mother-in-law didn't expect me to reject her this firmly. Sure, I was just tolerating it. Also, remember when you packed my stuff and kicked me out? I recalled every single thing they did to me and unleashed my anger. Well, that was just a prank. Yeah, just a prank. Despite her desperate attempts to justify herself, I retorted, a prank, huh? I think that's even worse, don't you? I was taken aback and realized there was no point in continuing this conversation. I glanced at my wristwatch. It was almost 1 p.m. My lunch break was completely wasted on this nonsense. Mother-in-law, can we wrap this up? I asked. Oh, what is it, Evelyn? She responded with an irritatingly sweet voice, perhaps expecting a positive answer from me. Thinking I won't entertain her expectations, I said, I need to hang up now. I've got a meeting coming up and I need to review some documents. Despite moving my phone away from my ear. Wait! Evelyn, please wait! Say something! I could hear mother-in-law's desperate scream. Then I heard, James! This happened because you didn't handle things properly! She was berating James. Seems like everything that doesn't go according to mother-in-law's plan is always someone else's fault. I was getting sick just listening to her. So, without hesitation, I tapped the end call button and blocked all incoming calls from mother-in-law. So, what happened next? Well, I received a message from James. He said, I want to come back. He was persistent, and it seemed like a good opportunity. So, I asked my lawyer to claim divorce compensation. That mother-in-law and father-in-law, it seems they were weak when confronted by a lawyer. They quickly made a lump sum payment. The money appears to have been fronted by the mother-in-law and father-in-law. Perhaps this situation caused a change in mother-in-law and father-in-law's attitude. James now constantly gets nagged by them to get a job. It seems like he's getting fed up with it. Where did that once successful man go? Apparently, he can't afford his apartment rent anymore and moved back to his parents' house. Blaming his divorce on the mother-in-law and father-in-law, he's now eating into their pension and savings for their old age, like father, like son, as they say. They both keep blaming each other for their sins, without reflecting on their own actions. By the way, he mentioned that he's going to apply for public assistance soon. They won't be able to have their way with the government, so I hope they try to correct their character while they still can. As for me, a presentation I made on a business trip was recognized, and a contract with a major new client was established. My position and income have both increased. I live a rich single life, without being bullied by my awful mother-in-law, and without my family demanding money from me. If there is a chance to remarry in the future, I plan to thoroughly check for mommy issues and the mother-in-law situation.